If you were following our previous video, you know that we use the Advanced Custom Fields free plugin to add in a custom post type called team members, some custom fields where we were showing the name, years of experience, and a custom post taxonomy as well, whereby we could see what department these members work in. So here's the fields. We had the standard title, and we had years of experience, department, and project image 1. I do also have the featured image, which is just behind my head at the moment down here. But I want to show you how you can be a bit versatile in what you build. Now, I'm using the Elementor page builder. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to show you here. You can replicate or transfer over to other page builders, but I hope you find this massively useful. So the normal process is to add a new single post, give it a title, and then you go and drop your fields in. But I'm actually going to build this inside of a loop carousel. The reason being is what I show you here is applicable to a loop grid and the single post template as well, because you're dropping fields in. And I think it might be more useful for you for this particular example with team members if we do that. So let's go to a brand new page. I'm going to type in loop and I'm going to drag over the loop carousel. Imagine I've got loads of team members. Of course, I could also just do a loop grid. In fact, what we'll do is we'll just do loop grid, okay? Because there's less settings for your carousel in terms of navigation and pagination and all of that. But what I'm showing you is applicable to whatever you decide to do with it, even when you're building out a single post template, okay? Just get that into your mind, even though we're doing a loop grid. What we're going to do is create a template, and this is where we're going to position our layout. But before we do that, I'm going to ensure that my template type is set to be posts, not products, not post taxonomy. We're going to go with post. I'm then going to go down to query, because again, this is a mistake that some people overlook or don't realize. They're trying to build it. They're trying to preview. They've selected their fields, but nothing is showing because this defaults to your WordPress post. Okay. It's nothing to do with this bit here. You got to pick the post bit, but in the query, it defaults to the source as your standard WordPress post. You got to pick that or click that and then select team members. If you've got 20 custom post types, select the relevant one. Now, some of you are going to say, but what if I want to have multiple post types? You can do that. I'll pop a link for that in the video description where you can select multiple custom post types, or the code snippet will handle it for you. So don't worry about that. Anyway, I've gone for team member. I'm not excluding any particular member or any particular department. You could do if you want. So I could go over here, click, go to exclude, go and click term. And then if I type SEO, I might say, when I've built this, exclude anyone who satisfies that requirement. But I'm not going for any exclusion. So let's just get rid of all of that. Right, so I've now selected team members. Now I'm going to go and create my template. I'm going to add in a new Flexbox container. For now, I'm just going to have everything as column, okay? If you understand Flexbox container, you can do with row, wrapping. You know, you can be pretty imaginative. Subchildren, grandchildren. You can go quite crazy on it. I'm going to give my container a border radius of 15. I'm going to go to my advanced type. I'm going to zero out my margin. And for my padding, I'm just going to go with something like 25. Then I'm going to hit the plus sign. And this is where I can now start to drop in my items. Now, if I go and drop in post title, that has returned post number 7. And that's from my standard post type, my WordPress post. I actually want to be using my team member one. And I want to see what the details are as per what I've entered. So to help myself out, I'm going to click the settings cog at the top over here at the top of the screen. I will then go to preview settings and I'm going to set this to be team member. Now, this is where I would like Elementor to have automatically have done that, because I've already set my query to be team member. So it should have defaulted there. But anyway, you pick your team member. Then I'm going to go and type in Jinx because I know that's one of my posts. I want to now pick that and go apply and preview. That should say Jinx at the top. So now it's pulling through the relevant item. Let's hit the plus sign again. So that was the post title. I don't have any excerpt. I don't actually have any content because look, if I drop this in, nothing's going to return. Because if you watch my previous video, I did not have any descriptive content. It's a good thing to have something like that because maybe when you click this, it's going to take you somewhere. But if you're using this just to show who are your team members, so the clicking won't take you anywhere. All right, this isn't like your standard blog loop grid or products one where you click it and it takes you to the product, or it takes you to the post. This is just displaying your team members. So I'm going to get rid of that. I do have a featured image. We do have that, right? So if I go and drag that above, that should bring over my featured image. We'll just set that to be a full like that. And in fact, I'll just go to style and give this a 10 border radius as well. Back to the plus sign. Post info, look, I could drop it in and it's just going to tell you when I created it. It depends on what you're creating, all right? And just to remind you, if you do bring over the post info, you can modify what you want to show. And you do have the option to pick other items as well. Like you could actually pull through a custom field. I'm going to centralize that. I'm not going to mess around with the styling because I just want to get across to you how this would work. But you could obviously go and do your sizing, your weighting, you know, uppercase, lowercase. I recommend you use a clamp formula. You know, please do revisit the videos or go over to our website. I'll pop a link in the video description for you to use our easy to use clamp calculator. But anyway, you could do all of your styling and whatnot there. Let's go and add in some custom fields now, all right? Because we've got the years of experience, the department, and we've also got an extra image. I'm doing this all on the loop grid, and it's going to look super ugly, but I just want to show you how you could bring things over. And you can do this on the loop carousel. You can do this on, you know, your single post template, your single product template as well. I'm going to drop in a brand new heading. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to pop it below the title like that. Now, if I go and add whatever I want here like that, that will be repeated for every single item. Okay, so if I've got 3 posts on the screen, all of them are going to say SSSSSFDF. That's probably an expletive in some multiverse somewhere at the moment. I don't want to do that. You can do, by the way, I should mention, you know, you could pop, you know, the word department in or depart, right? You can pop words in that repeat on every post if there is a need for it. But I actually want to return the department that this particular team member has or they currently work in. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to click on my title. Sometimes you have to click outside of it if the box disappears like it has now. Just click there and it will return. And I'm going to click dynamic tags. This is where it gets really, really easy, okay? Do not pick post custom field because that's the standard hacky way of doing a custom field. And it's not that difficult to do. I've got a video for it. If you really want to know about it, I'll tell you how to do it. I don't think it's the best way to do it because it can get quite messy. Better to use a proper custom fields plugin. I'm going to scroll down and pick ACF field, all right? That's where you would go if you had WooCommerce as well. I'm going to pick ACF field, right? Nothing's come back yet because we haven't told it what we want. So I'm going to click the spanner wrench and go to my key and you can now see my field. Name and year. If you followed my previous video, I showed you how to do it for standard fields as well. Ignore that. I want to focus on the team members CF. We have years of experience, but we don't have the extra image custom field or even the department. Hold on, is this not working? No, because here's where you have to think a little bit. The field is only going to return back standard text, number, stuff like that field, right? The taxonomy field actually requires you to use the post info field. I know you're probably going to go, you dragged it in, then you said you're not going to use it and you took it off. I just want to get you to understand how we sometimes discard things and we might not have ever realized we actually needed it. So I am, for the fact that we are in this position, going to pick years of experience. There we go. We've got the number field come through. I'm just going to style this to be center. Now, at the moment, it just says number 3, which is quite boring. What, number 3? What do you mean by that? I'm going to click back on the spanner wrench. We have an advanced tab, all right? We've got years of experience. We're going to click that. Before and after. So I'm going to type in experience like that with a colon, and it will return in a moment. And then I'm going to pop space, and I'm going to pop in the word years, and you'll see experience 3 years. Of course, you would style this out to look so much better. Let's just pop this in to be 16, just so it looks a little bit better on the screen. Now let's go and add in the department. So we're going to go back over to the plus, and I'm now going to click post info. I'm going to go over and get rid of author. I'm going to get rid of date. I'm going to get rid of time. And well, we can't completely get rid of comments, but I'm going to click it, and I'm going to select terms. Okay. You could, if you want, click custom, go to dynamic tag, scroll down to ACF, click here again, and you're still only going to have years of experience. What you want to do is go for terms. You will get used to this the more you play around with it. I cannot stress that enough. The more you play and experiment, the more you'll get used to it. All right. It's like learning how to eat. The more you practice, the better you get. Except chopsticks. I cannot handle chopsticks. So my own theory about practice makes perfect goes completely out the window. Anyway, we're going to go for terms. And now I'm going to pick my taxonomy. And can you see it's there? Departments. I didn't have to pick the post type or anything like that. It's right there for me, and I go and pick it. And there you go, it's appeared. Now, we do have an icon there, which I'm going to say I don't want to have. Or you're going to have this linkable. So if you've got a loop grid and maybe the links are going to take them elsewhere, you could click that and it will now show them other team members who have got that or another page. I don't want to have a link over there at the moment. I'm just going to centralize that. And look, you could add in some extra words. So I could go over here and I could pop before and I could say departments like that, or even departments if you want to pop the full wording in. So that's one way of how you could add your taxonomy. But I think there's a better way to do it, because when it comes to modifying this, because I added in the word department, if you go and add in something like strong or bold, it doesn't actually do it. It shows the HTML there, which is not what I actually want. If I go and set the taxonomy, the typography of this to be a weighting of 900, it applies it to everything. But I only want to apply it to the title, so I'm going to show you a better way of doing it. I should just point out, though, we did bring over the featured image that you can see here. Make sure you set the size of this, because if someone adds images in, some of the images might have been landscape, portrait, square. And when you come to view it, in fact, I do want to just show you what you would see if I just quickly go to preview. Look at this at the moment. They're all coming through with all of their departments and years of experience. So it's working really quick, but the different sized images gives us just way too much variation. So what I'm going to do is go and set my height of this be 200. I'm going to go for cover and I'm going to leave it as center. In fact, no, we'll go with top center maybe. I mean, you adjust it to what kind of images you've got at the moment. And I'm just going to set my width to be 100% as well. So if we were to now preview and view that, you can see all of the images are the same. Now, I did have an extra image and I'm going to drop that in as well. So I'm going to go and add in my image widget and I'm just going to click it. Oh, it's gone to another container. Let's just get rid of that. So I've got another image. And here I'm going to pull back my custom image that I added in. Because you're probably thinking, what was the point of all that? Let me show you. If I click here, it's going to take me to my media library. And again, if I was to pick, say, this image will repeat for every single post. Look, if I go and hit publish and I go to preview, all of them are going to have that image at the bottom. That is not what I want. I want to bring back over the custom image. Let's go and delete that. What you want to do is go and click on dynamic tag. You have the option for featured image, which I already have on screen. So why would I want to bring over the featured image? I've already got it. I don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is scroll down to ACF image field. All right. I'm going to click that. I'm going to click the spanner and wrench. There's a routine. It's a pattern to how you do things. Go to my key and there it is. Project image _1. Let's say you've got 4 of them. Image 2, image 3, image 4. You bring them over and you can put them where you want now. Imagine you have got a description and maybe you got image and maybe you got another description. So anyway, we're going to go for featured image number 1. Now, if there was not a featured image number 1, so let's say you've got some, do you want to have a fallback image? So you might say every time there is no image, go and pull back this image over here. And it will do that for you. But plan out what you're doing. Okay, so we've got our image. We're going to go to the style tab, 125 pixel. I'm actually going to do the same for the width as well. I'm going to set this to be a cover. And again, I'm going to go for top center. So I've made a smaller version of that image and it will make sense in a moment. I'm going to set my width and my height to all be 100. So I've got a smaller version. I've got cover. My position is top center. The only reason I'm going top center, because one of my images, the face is quite near the top, but you might go with center. And I'm just going to give this a border radius of 100, something like that. Here's my image over here. I'm going to pick it up and pop it above the title. I will then go to my advanced tab and I will now do some negative margin like that. Minus 73 worked quite well, and I'm just going to add in a bit of a shadow as well. So you just get a bit of an overlap 3D effect. You might not like that. If you don't like it, get rid of it. And like I said, if you feel like it's too spaced out, just click on your container and go and mess around with your gaps, all right? It's relatively easy to do. So if we preview it, you can now see that we get this extra image coming through. Imagine you've got a product, a shop page, right? And you've got your main image and you want to show other images as well. So you could have 2 other preview images. You might even have an animated GIF. And if you create the GIF to be quite small, so it's not hefty in size, so it's not like 20 megabytes or something. It's pretty small. You could have a GIF that plays as well. You can think out the box here, all right? Because it's an image and you could use that as well. Maybe you've got an autoplay video. Maybe there's a sound with a play button. So maybe you're selling stories like books. Imagine you're an author, okay? And you got a book cover over there. And then you might have a button here where you click it and someone reads out like an audio extract of the first couple of paragraphs or something. You can be really, really versatile with this, okay? You could have a couple. Anyway, look, I'm going all overboard now at the moment, but you get the idea. But I mentioned here, this was one way to do it using the post info. The better way to do it, in my opinion, is that you go and use the text editor instead. So I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to just drop it above. When we get all this random text, if you save this, that will be visible on all of your single post template loop grid, wherever you've added it in. Instead, I'm going to get rid of that and I'm going to click the dynamic tag. Now, if I go here and I go to ACF field and I hit the spanner or the wrench, again, I will only have years of experience. I will not have the ability to go and add in the taxonomy, but you can if you use a shortcode. Now, I'm going to drop the shortcode in and show you how it won't work, but how you get it to work, okay? So stay with me on this. So I'm going to get rid of that item in there, and I'm going to drop into here a bit of text, and then I'm going to add in my description. So I'm going to say departments covered, and I've added in a semicolon, and then you add in open square bracket ACF space field equals department in speech marks. And I'm just going to expand on that or zoom in so you can see it a bit clearer. Now, why did I use department and not departments? Well, if I show you the custom post type taxonomy, you can see here where we've got departments, the taxonomy key is department. So make sure you use the relevant one. We'll go back over here, ACF field equals department. However, if I hit publish and I go to preview, you're going to see this and it will say the ACF shortcode is disabled on this site because the advanced custom fields plugin changed things about 6 months ago now, I think. But there is a way to re-enable it within your text editor, because you can be so versatile in here, right? With your colors and styling and stuff like that, more so than just using the post info widget. What you need to do is add in a code snippet. It's dead easy to do this. Go and use the free code snippet plugin. Link for the code is in the video description. It's free to get the code, all right? It's free to sign up and get that. Please don't think, I've got to pay for it. No, you sign up. It's free to get all of that, and then go and pop that into the code snippet plugin. Go and click add new, drop this code in, save changes, and activate. And when you go back over to your page now, you'll now see that the words have come through. Departments covered, SEO marketing, website build, and we can see variation with the other ones. Now, looking at this, you might say, the departments covered is quite long, but I just wanted to get across how this works. And I want to show you how you can mix more than one custom field together. So I'm going to go back in to edit this template. I've changed the wording to say departments. Now, after our bit of code, I'm going to add in a space. I'm going to pop the word with, and then I'm going to pop this in, which is a copy of what we had above. But this time I'm using the years of experience instead of department. I'm going to add in a space and say years of experience if I spell it right. Now inside of my loop grid, and remember, you can do this in a loop carousel, a single post template as well. We've got departments with the names of those category items with 5 years of experience. So I've almost amalgamated 2 separate custom fields inside of the text editor. And that's the reason why it's my preferred option. If you're happy to use the code snippet to pull them all back, than just using this. And the other thing also is that I can start to stylize individual aspects of this. So by making some of them bold, you go over, you can see what's coming through. It's so easy. And of course, you can get dirty with it with adding in some span class if you want. This is kind of like a bit of an introduction as to how you can utilize your custom fields that you've built in a custom post type or wherever, bring them back over to Elementor. You can use the dynamic tags, you can use the post info, some of the widgets they give you, but you can also think outside the box and pop them into a text editor as an example and stylize it how you want. I hope that's been helpful for you. My name's Imran, Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share and follow. I'll see you all soon.